What I liked about the clips I saw from him as well, I'm sure Blues fans have seen the clips as well. Some of the timing of his tackles is fantastic, and some of them are, if you don't get those timing right in the box, you're going to give away penalties. And he's literally physically dominant in those areas, just sweeping the ball past players who are attacking. Really, really good. Tackling is absolutely brilliant. Very physical and also versatile as well. So he can be a centre back, but he can also play at right back as well. Welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And as everybody knows, the January transfer window has opened and Birmingham City have made their first 2 acquisitions in the January transfer window over the last week. One of them being Grant Hanley. The other one is a signing that will come to us in the summer. He signed a pre-contract agreement with Birmingham City, and that is Phil Neumann. And in this podcast, myself and Matt are going to have a look at each of these 2 players, look at some of their stats, and actually discuss what they might bring to Birmingham City. So we'll start off with Grant Hanley. Matt, what's your thoughts on him coming to Birmingham City?
Well, first of all, thank you for unintentionally correcting me, because I've been calling him Neumann.
Oh yeah, a lot of people have.
It's Neumann.
Yeah.
Okay, hence the German nature of his name. I get that.
Yeah.
Okay, Grant Hanley. So, he's experienced. He's got good leadership qualities. He got that fight. He gets stuck in. And I think some Blues fans have kind of saw this one as a bit of an underwhelming signing. But I think it makes sense when you look at the finer details. It's a 6-month contract.
Yeah. This
is a backup to get us through the season in case we get injuries. And I think Grant Hanley will know that. I think he'll have had that conversation. He's come in as a support. Our centre-halves are absolutely outstanding. But we are noticing the physios at Blues get quite busy recently, haven't we? So we need that extra cover. And again, Dave, you know me, I like to do my research on social media, see what other fan bases say. And the Norwich fan base is quite mixed. Some are saying he was a great player, and then the others are a little bit underwhelmed and not too sad to see him go. But I really picked up one quote from a Norwich fan channel, which sort of quotes the fans and kind of gets that feedback. And I just want to read that out because I think this, to me, it kind of hit the spot perfectly. So he says, a warrior, a leader, a man who was respected by every player at the club, 200 appearances, 2 promotions, and countless defensive saves that won us matches. We salute you. Good luck moving forward. Nice message, isn't it?
You can't really argue with that, can you?
Nice message.
Yeah, and obviously people will know him. He's a well-known player. He's been around a long time. He's 33 years old now, and he's 1.88 metres, which is around about 6.3.
What's it in feet?
6 feet, 3 inches. 6.3, 6'3", 6'4", something like that. So he's which is what you want for a centre-half. But the thing I like about what I've seen of him, he's very physical and old style as well. And that's what you want, particularly in this league, in League One. You need centre-halves that are not going to be messed around and pushed around. He's that. He's cover. I think there's no doubt that it's going to be Clara and Ben Davies are going to be the first choice centre-halves here in our club. But he is cover, and he's good cover. And I think he's only on a 6-month contract.
That's it.
And, we haven't paid a fee for him. So I think it's a good sign. I know a lot of Blues fans, I've seen some of the social media, and I was very underwhelming, like you mentioned, underwhelming addition to the club. But it's a necessary one. Something else, Matt, as well, which I find sort of it almost signifies, because of this, there is no way back for Dion Sanderson, because we sent a player out on loan to bring another player on loan to cover him. It tells you that Chris Davis don't fancy him.
Yeah.
So that tells us that I think Dion will hopefully, if he does well at Blackburn, make that permanent. But definitely, I don't think he'll be coming back to Birmingham City.
On that note, 1, good luck to Dion.
Yes.
I hope he has a good future and a good career moving forward. But 2, how mad's that? We're a League One team and we've loaned out our 4th centre half to a championship side.
So other people have commented on that.
It is bonkers.
It is crazy. Just a few strengths of Grant Hanley, because I love centre halves in terms of they're physical, and I like old style. That I like those centre forwards as well.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm a bit older and that, but he really fits that mould of no nonsense. If the ball's going to come in the box, he's going to clear it. Okay, and I love that as well. Because what you want, isn't it? Could do with him against Wrexham, couldn't we? Aerial dominance. He's very, very positive in aerial battles and aerial dominance, and he will clear the ball. So he's good in the air. He's very physical, as I mentioned. And one thing that you mentioned that can't be underestimated as well. He's actually a leader. He was Norwich's captain.
Yep.
So he's got that aura about him that he's going to want to lead and guide the team as well, which is what you want as well. And even the only thing that's that I feel is it's negative, but an observation about him. He's prone to injury, and he hasn't played much in the last couple of years for Norwich, but he has been a regular in the Scotland team. So even though he's not been getting regular football, it shows you how much Steve Clarke, the Scotland manager, thinks of him because he keeps picking him.
Yeah. Also, I didn't realise, I've only just made the connection right now in the room, but he's going to know Lyndon Dykes.
Yes.
Obviously, Scottish international, so
Yeah.
that's quite an interesting relationship there. And yeah, I agree with everything you've just said there, just in terms of the positives there. And I think just in the interest of a balance argument and a conversation here, I think what some fans are worried about and what some of his weak spots are is technical ability and pace. I think he's quite slow. He can get quite. I mean,
Yeah.
centre halves are traditionally quite slow. I mean, a lot of the modern ones, if you look at like Arsenal and like the big Premier League teams, they do have pacey centre halves. It's like a demand now of the elite clubs. But centre halves generally rely on their positioning and their intelligence, don't they, over pace? Because normally centre halves are physical, they're big. That normally brings a discrepancy in pace, which I've not necessarily got a massive problem with. It's the technical thing for me because, you know, under Chris Davies now, Ben Davies and Clara are on the ball arguably more than anyone because, you know, we work through the channels now, don't we? And those centre halves have a lot of the ball. So I'd be interested to see how Hanley gets on in this system, playing Chris Davies' style of football, and is he comfortable having the ball at his feet as much as what he's going to have in the Blues team? I don't know. I'm going to give him a chance as always, Dad. He's a Blue now. I'm going to back him when he gets on that pitch. And I think this is a smart piece of business.
Yeah.
And I am excited now. We've got a little bit of extra cover moving forward with this season.
Yeah, because if Clara or Davies got injured or suspended, we'd be in a bit of trouble, wouldn't we, for that position? I know Bielik can play there. But he is good. Just one final point on his heat map. You know I love the heat maps, guys. He's predominantly if you look at his heat map, he's predominantly right-hand sided. So he's a centre half with a preference for the right-hand side of the pitch, and most of his sort of heat area in the heat map. And this is over the. And what I've done, I've picked the heat map. I couldn't do it for this season. I only played twice for Norwich, and the season before he was injured a lot. So I've gone back to the previous season when he had a lot of games in the season. So he's predominantly right-sided on there, which again will support obviously that right-hand side. So the likes of Ethan Laird or Bielek if they're playing at right back, whoever's playing on the right wing. So and he's not one that tends to maraud too much into the opposition's half. So I see him as a bit of a safe pair of hands, a bit of a safety net type of player.
Yeah.
But for me as well, a good signing. Only there signed for 6 months initially, and I think is exactly what we need at this particular moment in time.
Yeah, agreed. So let's get on to the one which I think a lot of Blues fans are very excited about. We've got two balances here, haven't we? And you mentioned about being old school dad and liking that old school centre half. Neumann seems like a bit more of a progressive centre half, doesn't he? You know, I've seen some goals that he's scored and some chances he's made. He's absolutely unbelievable. But I'll let you kick this one off, Dad. Neumann, what are your thoughts on what you've seen and heard so far?
I'm absolutely amazed we've got him because I've looked at his stats, which I'm going to share with you in a minute, and the type of player he is. I'm absolutely amazed that Championship clubs and even maybe some of the lower haven't been queuing up for this guy. He's that good, and
you say that, Dad, but Bundesliga's teams were in for him, and I think championship teams were in for him as well. So we've beat again. Really good competition for this guy.
He's exactly. We've got him over the line, and I'm really excited about him coming to us. You know, he's 27 years old, which I see within the window of the
peak.
Sort of the peak. The early part of peak, I think 27. He's 1.92 meters, which is somebody can correct me, but that's got to be about 6'5", 6'6".
It's 6'4" apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's tall.
Yeah.
It's tall. He's obviously can play various sort of aspects to his game that are really, really strong. Again, aerial dominance as well. He's very good in the air. What I liked about the clips I saw from him as well, I'm sure Blues fans have seen the clips as well. Some of the timing of his tackles is fantastic.
Yeah.
And some of them are, if you don't get those timing right in the box, you're going to give away penalties. And he's literally physically dominant in those areas, just sweeping the ball past players who are attacking. Really, really good. Tackling is absolutely brilliant. Very physical and also versatile as well. So, he can be a centre back, but he can also play at right back as well.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a real proper player on our hands here. Weaknesses. Now, one of the weaknesses I've actually identified is he's not the fastest, but
he looks quick to me.
Yeah. But this is what the stats show. But I think that he's faster than most. So I think generally pace is a weakness for a lot of defenders. But he looks to me like he's I suppose when you compare him pace from a real fast right winger, for example, who are really, really fast. defenders are always going to feel short on pace against them because normally they got the momentum running with the ball. But
that's their biggest quality, a winger, is speed, though, isn't it? But it's interesting you said that because my research shows that speed is his biggest attribute. His quickness, and I think there's two terms here. There's pace and there's acceleration, and they are two different things. I believe his acceleration is good, so he gets off the mark quickly.
Yes.
There is a little bit of a difference. If you're going to do a top speed, a winger or a fast striker is going to burn him out. But if you're doing acceleration, getting off the mark quickly, he's going to be really competitive. And for a centre half, that's key because you have to be able to be mobile quickly.
I think what will help there as well is that even if he wasn't the fastest, I know he's faster than a lot, but it's his timing that's brilliant, and that gets him out of trouble as well. And that's what you want for a defender, isn't it? As well. He's obviously we're buying him from Hannover. 96 in the German second Bundesliga, isn't it? German League 2. But like you mentioned, there was German clubs after him: Borussia Mönchengladbach, Eintracht Frankfurt. This is actually Bundesliga 1 teams after him as well. So, but I think the reason that we got him is he really wanted to come and play in England. I think he's, from what I've read, he definitely wanted to come over to England because he could have, and also Hanover wanted to keep him as well.
Yeah.
So the fact that we've got him is absolutely staggering. Really, imagine the partnership of him with Clara.
Yeah, I know. It's frightening, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to Ben Davies, and I hope we keep and sign him permanently. Yeah. But I just imagine two centre halves of Clara and Neumann. I'm thinking that's going to be phenomenal.
I know, it's scary, isn't it? I mean, he looks like a great player. This looks like a great piece of business. What I've enjoyed, Dad, we seem to be going to the European markets a bit, don't we? We've signed a few players from the German leagues, from the Dutch leagues.
Yeah.
And I think you can get some gems from the European market. So I'm really happy that we've been exploring and dipping our toe this year into the European leagues. It's been nice to see. I don't know a lot, I must admit, apart from the highlight reels and the show reels or the whatever you want to call that. I don't know much about him, but I'm not going to lie, Dad. I was excited about the Iwu and Ollie Burke highlight reels. So I would obviously I am joking, but I would take those reels in a little bit of with a pinch of salt because obviously it's their best moments, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can make any player look good in a 30-second, 1 minute highlight reel. But from what I've seen with his pace, his aggression. I even saw him score a goal there where we dinked the keeper from the edge of the box, I think it was. It looked like a great goal that he scored technical ability-wise.
Yeah.
And, just a few things for me in terms of positives, Dad. He's 6'4", he's got speed, he's quick. He's what I love about him as well is his ball control. So, we talk about Chris Davies, and I mentioned about Grant Hanley maybe struggling with that style of football. He looks like he can control and pass the ball all day long.
Yeah.
Really confident on the ball. I think his distribution is going to be fantastic. So I think he's going to fit in to Chris Davies' style of football, which is great. And again, a few other positive attributes. I went on to a Hannover group forum and they were kind of listing, there was a bit of a back and forth between them and some Blues fans, and they were like, what can you tell us about him? And they mentioned about jumping, interception, stamina, strength, ball control, acceleration and sprint speed. So
that's everything.
Yeah. Well, no, there's loads and loads of lists of what you can do with a player. You got the list goes endless of what you can pick, but for a centre half, they're really, really good.
I say you can play right back as well. I mean, he came through the Schalke Academy, and obviously they're a big German team, Schalke. He was sold to a team called Ingolstadt in 2017 from Schalke. Was there a couple of years, and then was sold to Holstein Kiel, which is another. I think they're currently in the German Bundesliga, and they sold him to Hannover in 2022. So he's had a bit of experience in the German league, which again, I mean, the German league is pretty physical as well. It's probably the most similar league in Europe compared to the English league, so that will be good as well. So he's got a bit of experience in that as well. He has scored a few goals. So Hannover, he's played 81 times, scored 3 goals and 2 assists. And I know he's a defender, so I'm not really judging him on his goals, but it's good when you see them knocking in a few goals as well. Holstein Klein, he played 79 games, 1 goal and 5 assists. Schalke under 19, which is going back a bit, 31 games, 1 goal, etc. So he's got goals in him as well, and he's got assists in him, which is really good. And he's also played for the German under 19s in 2015 8 times, and the German under 20s in 2016 10 times. But this is going back quite a few years now, isn't it? So he's clearly not anywhere near the cusp of the German national team at the moment, but he has got international experience.
Well, Dad, to be a German international, you've got to beat world-class Champions League players. That's how strong that international team is. That's a bit of a
Yeah, but
a bit of a step
I think the
up,
fact that
but,
he's played for the German
Yeah, yeah,
under
definitely.
19s, under 20s is good as well.
Yeah.
Again, his heat map. Want to hear about his heat map?
Go for it.
Again, this is a really interesting one. It's clearly, as a centre half, there's a lot of red in the penalty box as a defending. And again, just like we talked about with Grant Hanley, predominantly right hand side, but there is a lot of heat on the left hand side. He seems to get everywhere, but with a dominance towards the right hand side. The only thing I see as not a negative, but I know that we know that Ben Davies is left footed. Whereas if we were to have Clara and Neumann, they're both right footed.
Yes.
But I don't think that's a huge major problem, but
I
it's just
do
an observation.
I do like a left footed.
Yeah, me too.
I think it gives you balance at the back, and I think that's arguably why we haven't conceded as much since the Exeter
Yeah.
game, because Ben Davies has now been the solid left side, Clara the solid right side, and it's just worked, hasn't it? And
Yeah.
Bielek has now filled in more of the right back. Anyway, that's a good point, though, Dad. I don't know whether a lot of people knew that, but he's a right-footed player. And
Yeah.
just to give people a bit of context about where Hannover 96 are, because people can relate to this, they're in the same league as Paderborn. Do you remember that we played Paderborn in the pre-season friendly?
I think they're near the top, aren't they?
They are, yeah. So I think they're fourth. Could be wrong on that. Please feel free to fact check me. So yeah, that's the kind of standard that we're looking at. I'm excited by Neumann. I think he's going to be exciting. And again, if we get back to the Championship, fingers crossed, I think he's going to be a great addition. And our defence now for competition, if you look at Grant Hanley, fair enough, I know they won't be in the team at the same time if he doesn't get an extension to his contract, but even Bielek, Clara, Ben Davies, unbelievable.
It is good. I think that, to me, this is one of the most exciting signings from what I've seen, and the quality of player he is, and the fact that we're going to get him on a free as well is absolutely staggering. But yeah, really excited about this one, and looking forward to him coming over. Just to clarify, he signed a pre-contract agreement with Birmingham City, and he'll be joining us in the summer. So he's going to spend the rest of the season at Hannover, and hopefully get them promoted to the Bundesliga. Then he'll join us in the summer. So really exciting times. Really great that our club are looking at players like this and can get players like this. It says a lot about the hard work of the recruitment team and the attractiveness now to come to Birmingham City and sign up to the project, I suppose, and get us to where we want to be. But what do you think, Blues fans? Obviously, I think Grant Hanley is a good, solid sign, as we mentioned. Phil Neumann, really exciting. But we'd love to have your opinions on what you think about these two guys. One final thing as well, I put a tweet on an X on our X page with Phil Neumann's heat map, and he liked it himself. Phil Neumann liked our post on himself, so I think he's going to be a player that's going to interact with the fans as well. So I think that's nice as well. But let us know your comments. Add a comment below. Let us know what you think about these two players. Myself and Matt, always happy to hear your comments, and we'll get around to answering those. If you did like this podcast, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And if you like to watch or listen to your podcasts on Spotify, you'll find us on there as well. And you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all of these channels right now. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss any future content that we put out. If you want to be notified, there's a bell icon next to that red button. Press that and you'll get notifications every time we put a brand new podcast out. So hope you've enjoyed this one. And if you did, fantastic. And myself and Matt will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.